So we've been talking a little about things on top of the water. We've talked about underwater and coming up, breathing, not breathing, when to, not to. Once you're comfortable with that, let's face it, the fun part of swimming happens under the water. It doesn't happen on top. The cool stuff's under. So now we're going to talk about how to play under. If you've got somebody who is negatively buoyant, who's a sinker, right? These are things that you want to talk with them earlier on about. But for most people, when we get here, this is a great place. There are some people who float really, really well, and they have a tremendously difficult time with this. There are other people who catch on quickly. If you've got somebody who just floats, say, oh gosh, that's so sad. It's going to be so hard for you to drown. I'm so sorry you float. And get them to laugh with you, because it's not what they expected when they came in, and it's a wonderful thing to have. But for the people who can go under, it's really great fun. And so what we're going to do is say, you already know how to do this underwater. You just don't know it. So you know how we pull up here at the top of the water to move ourselves forward? Guess what? You do exactly the same thing under the water. You take the power part of your hand and you push back once you're under the water. How do you get under the water? How do you make that happen? So we've talked a little about that before. You can do that with dropping straight down. Because if you drop straight down, you're not putting all of your surface area in the water for the float. We've talked about jumping, and we've done some jumping, and if you get them to jump up, they can get straight down real easy, right? Assuming they don't lean forward. You can talk about blowing air out. Makes it tremendously easier to get down to the water and get that started. And then what you say is, okay, now that we know how to get down to the bottom, now that we know how to get there, how do we move around once we're there? So the way you move around once you're there is exactly go down, point, pull, move yourself in the water. You can also, if you want to move, the same as you can up here on the top of the water, if you want to go there, you point your hands over there, you put your head between your hands and you pull along that way, and it'll make you go that way. Or you can put your hands over there, your head here, you can pull the opposite direction, it's going to make you go that way. So we play moving back and forth with that, right? So the underwater piece of that is the same. It is very much the same. If you can get down, once you get down, that's good for an hour of play without any trouble at all. And your people will like it. Some people will catch on really quick, they'll love it, so you drop things on the water underneath for them to play, right? This is as wonderful a kid's game as has ever existed. So we drop something that has weight. Usually I have toys, they're all given to another coach today, so we're gonna play with the weight, but we just drop it down, we get them to pick up the first one. I have so much fun watching people attempt to do this before they begin to think about how the standing straight up affects them, or how the blowing air out affects them, or how jumping and weight pushing them down affects them. They struggle and struggle to get there, and we all laugh and we all have a good time because we thought the easy thing was to get to the bottom of the pool, right? It's not. This gives us a chance to begin to build that. So we'll stack 2 or 3 of these up once they get done, or 4 or 5 if they get really good at it, and say, see if you can pick those up off the bottom of the pool. And most will happily find a way to do that. And we celebrate. Woohoo! Got it! Enjoy this part.